Most people think they lack discipline. That's wrong. They're trapped inside a system designed to make them fail. A system so normalized, so deeply integrated into daily life, that failure feels like a personal flaw instead of a structural one. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. The silverback sees progress die every single day. Not because effort is missing, not because motivation is weak, not because people don't want success badly enough, but because the system they live inside quietly rewards the exact behavior that prevents progress. The habit that feels productive is often the habit that slowly destroys momentum. Everything looks right at first. Plans are written. Motivation feels real. The structure looks clean, responsible, controlled. That is when progress collapses. Not under pressure, not during chaos, during comfort. Nothing breaks, nothing explodes, no alarms go off. The day simply slips. Time moves, attention leaks, momentum fades without resistance. The silverback notices it immediately. This is why discipline keeps failing without a fight, not because people are weak, but because the system rewards ease before effort. The silverback does not fix motivation. He removes the conditions that make discipline optional. Because discipline is not a personality trait. It is a structural outcome. And structure begins with the first habit. Habit 1. Delay dopamine. The first habit looks harmless, almost too small to matter. That is exactly why it works. The system collapses the moment stimulation arrives before direction. When reward comes first, effort feels heavy. When attention is consumed early, action becomes negotiable. This mistake hides inside routines that feel responsible. Checking messages, scanning notifications, opening apps just to see. Preparing instead of acting. Busy, organized, completely still. The silverback understands the equation. Early pleasure weakens focus. Delayed pleasure sharpens it. So the order is reversed. No input before output. No content before direction. No stimulation before execution. At first, the silence feels uncomfortable. Then it feels unnatural. Then it becomes powerful. The mind stops reacting. The body waits for instruction. Clarity appears without force, and that is when the next weakness reveals itself. Habit 2. Remove the choice to start. Most people believe motivation creates momentum. It doesn't. Momentum comes from motion. The silverback installs a trigger so simple it feels almost insulting. One action. The same action. Every single day. No choice. No debate. No emotional negotiation. The body moves before the mind has time to interfere. Because hesitation is not a lack of discipline. It is a delay that gives doubt permission to speak. And doubt always speaks first. So the system removes that permission. Action begins automatically. Momentum follows naturally. And for a while, everything feels easier until energy fades. Habit 3. Move before you feel tired. Fatigue does not arrive suddenly. It leaks in quietly. Posture collapses. Breathing shortens. The mind begins searching for escape. This is not laziness. It is chemistry. The silverback moves before fatigue becomes visible, not to recover, to prevent collapse. 10 minutes. Predictable. Non-negotiable. Movement resets attention. Blood flow restores clarity. Stillness loses control. Energy returns before motivation is needed. But even now, the system is not safe. Habit 4. Remove the environment's permission. Discipline rarely fails head-on. It fails quietly, through convenience, through access, through just this once. Screens glow. Tabs stay open. Notifications wait patiently. The silverback does not demand willpower. He redesigns the environment. One distraction is removed. Then another. Then something that might be useful later. Nothing dramatic, just subtraction. And suddenly, effort feels lighter. Not because strength increased, but because resistance disappeared. Still, inconsistency remains, because behavior changes faster than identity. Habit 5. Install identity before effort. The old self-image lingers. It whispers doubt, predicts collapse, waits for proof that this will fail. This never lasts. You'll stop again. This isn't who you are. The silverback cuts the loop. Identity comes first. Not a goal, not a dream. A role. Operator, builder, strategist. Action no longer tries to prove worth. It fulfills function. Resistance drops instantly. When identity aligns, discipline stops feeling forced. But focus remains fragile. Habit 6. Eliminate task switching. Attention doesn't break loudly. It fractures. One task becomes 2. 2 become 5. Progress feels busy. Output disappears. The silverback enforces a constraint. One task, one surface, one direction. Everything else is excluded. Not forever. Just now. Depth returns. Completion becomes normal. But even strong focus erodes without protection. Habit 7. Remove permission to drift. This is where most systems fail. Not dramatically. Subtly. One exception. One message. One rule bent. Just this once. The system bends. The silverback states the law clearly. Systems do not fail from pressure. They fail from permission. Nothing is added. Nothing is negotiated. The rule holds. Consistency becomes automatic. Habit 8. Lock time and location. Motivation fluctuates. Energy changes. Mood lies. Rhythm does not. The same time, the same place, the same starting ritual. Variability disappears. Trust forms quietly through repetition. The system begins to carry the weight instead of the mind. Habit 9. Externalize control. Mental planning collapses under stress. Ideas vanish. Intentions fade. Focus dissolves. The silverback writes everything down. If it is not written, it does not exist. Plans become visible. Actions become obvious. Cognitive load drops. Execution accelerates. And then discomfort appears. Habit 10. Schedule discomfort. Not pain. Not burnout. Discomfort. The point where growth begins. The silverback does not avoid it. He schedules it. The hardest task goes first. Not because it feels good. Because it works. Resilience builds. Confidence compounds. Adaptation accelerates. The final layer, track and recover. Unmeasured systems drift. Unrecovered systems collapse. The silverback tracks output, protects recovery, balances effort with restoration. Sustainability replaces burnout. Now the system holds. Delayed dopamine creates clarity. Clarity enables action. Action creates momentum. Momentum demands movement. Movement protects focus. Focus reinforces identity. Identity stabilizes consistency. Consistency compounds results. Nothing here works alone. Everything works together. This is why partial discipline fails, and complete systems don't. The same moment appears again. The same comfort. The same opportunity to bend. Before, this is where progress died. Now, the structure holds. Not because effort increased, but because permission disappeared. The trigger remained. The outcome changed. Transformation does not arrive when motivation peaks. It arrives when regression becomes impossible. The silverback builds systems, and systems decide what lasts forever. And this is the part most people never understand. Systems do not change lives overnight. They change what feels normal. At first, discipline feels forced. Then it feels structured. Eventually, it feels inevitable. The Silverback does not chase motivation. He builds environments where motivation becomes irrelevant, where action happens even on bad days, where progress continues even when confidence drops, where identity holds when emotion fades. This is the difference between people who start strong and people who finish. One group relies on feeling ready. The other relies on structure. One waits for energy. The other designs inevitability. And that is the final truth. You don't rise to your goals. You fall to your systems. The Silverback never chases outcomes. He builds conditions. And once those conditions are in place, success stops being a matter of will and becomes a matter of time.